Alright, it says we're live, but until I see it in the little preview on Twitch, I'm not going to believe it. We've had that problem before where we've lost like 5 minutes of the intro because it wasn't.
Really?
Yeah.
We have? Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
Me and John have done that.
Oh, like last week?
Where we were just talking and it's like, no, we can't hear anything. There's just like a still image. Yeah, we are live. I'm getting confirmation.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, this is the first time I've done one live. Very exciting.
It is exciting. I got butterflies in my stomach every time we go live. Every week.
The magic hasn't died down yet.
I'm not really sure
You're not the old couple that the fire is gone?
It's not gone yet, no.
Oh, that's good.
Is it magic or is it just like, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up?
Oh, I'm used to fucking up, so it's not the former. Or, yeah. I don't really know how to intro this at all. We don't have an intro topic or anything. This is
great. Glad I put you in charge.
Yeah, thanks. See, I already fucked it up. I already ruined everything. Welcome, everybody, to the Top-Down Perspective. Joining us this week, John is gone because he got his wisdom removed from his head. So,
Accurate.
Allan Shumacher from Bioware is joining us to talk some video game nonsense. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
And even though he lives in the dirt hole that is Edmonton, we'll try not to hold that against him.
Oh, shit.
Like I'm talking to Calgary people or something like that.
Oh, Jesus. It already starts.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even live in Calgary anymore, so.
I do.
There you go.
It's not so great.
I look at Calgary and I'm like, you remind me a lot of Edmonton. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all Canada. It's all the same in the end. Alan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
All right, fair enough. So, yeah, like you mentioned, I work for Bioware. I'm in quality assurance. I started in 2009, originally just as what they call a quality assurance analyst for kind of back-end systems. So I didn't actually test the game so much. I more worked on testing the tools and making sure that people who are making the game content didn't have any issues with any of the tools or pipelines that they use in order to deploy content. So I started right at the end of Dragon Age Origin, went through Dragon Age 2, did Dragon Age Inquisition, and once that was shipped, then I transitioned over. I'm on to now Mass Effect Andromeda, and in that one, I was like some fancy title. It's like SDET, I mean, Software Developed Engineering and Tester is I think what it stands for. But basically, I'm a QA programmer now, so I'm doing more programming related tasks. You know, for things like helping out with, you know, automated testing or making it so that, you know, improving the workflow of QA as well as developers so that they're able to do their work more efficiently.
I've heard like horror stories about testing.
It is probably not as bad as it maybe once was. I think it varies studio by studio. I've heard horror stories too. In fact, I was expecting horror stories when I started.
Sure.
Because I have a comp sci background and, you know, new programming and stuff like that, they actually were like, when I got hired just as a contract worker, they weren't just, okay, well, we're just going to sit you in front and play the game. They were like, well, you have, you know, skills that we can leverage, and we'll get you testing out code and testing out aspects like that and writing code to help test. So right on day one, I was like, oh, whew, thank goodness, this maybe isn't going to be as much of a nightmare as I think it is. But so in that sense, it was good. I think Bioware in general is pretty respectful towards QA. I've heard some place, you know, I don't know really any studio, just like that places where QA can be kind of, you know, in separate buildings even or things like that. But in terms of the amount of privilege and so, you know, I was never hidden from looking at the code if I really wanted to look at it or anything like that. So there was that degree of trust. So it kind of shattered some of that. Just from friends that I've now kind of made through networking, I think it is getting better. But I do think that there's a degree of that legacy that we're still trying to shed of we're just a bunch of people. You know, you get movies like Grandma's Boy who don't help very much, where it's like, yeah, we just sit around and goof off and play video games all day. And it's not that we play video game, singular, and it's not finished. So, but for the most part, I find QA is interesting. I was expecting to transfer out right away. I was like, I'll go pay my dues and then switch out. But the thing I like about QA is it's basically a whole bunch of, it's just problem solving, which I like doing. If you give me, you know, a job this to solve problems day in and day out, and programming is similar like that. I really enjoy it. So a lot of times, we found a bug. No one knows how that bug happened, so then it gets put on my plate. Like, here's the kind of clues for how we can get this, and can you figure out how to reproduce it in a consistent way? And that's sort of, to me anyways, the nerd type that I am, is challenge accepted, and then I go at it.
That sounds like a nightmare to have to look through code to do your QA, though. Like, something's wrong, now let's bring up all of the numbers and see which one is off.
It's not that bad when you have ways to cue you to the right place. And it's not, I'm not just like looking through the code randomly, but it's the type of thing where an advantage that I have, because I understand what it takes to program, is that I've been able to find bugs and then point right to the line of code that's causing the issue. So you can get it was usually less the code itself, but more like scripting languages and stuff like that, especially in the original Dragon Ages. And you get a designer or a programmer, and I'm like, hey, you said this is as true, and it really should be false. And they just look at it and they're like, oh, hey, whoops. So for them, it's really fast because they don't have to do all the extra investigation and stuff like that. So in that sense, I felt like I was a pretty quick, valuable contributing member of the team. So you have to be careful. You also don't want to go in and be like, yo, programmer, dude, you're totally doing this wrong. I'm a guy who's a fresh graduate out of university. You should totally listen to me. I don't. And next thing you know, you realize that you just made a fool out of yourself. So, yeah, but...
I was gonna say it's almost like a superiority complex or something, where you just like see where another programmer oversaw something obvious, and you're just like, I'm better than you, or something. That would be a good way to get a job for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. That would be
making friends.
Yeah,
make friends and influence people. No, there's enough of me. I don't know. Maybe it's just my Canadianism of like that. I don't know, imposter syndrome, where it's like, how am I even here? Surely I'm just a fraud and somehow fluked my way into this. And you like look at a thing and you like examine it for like 20 minutes longer than you need to. Like, this is actually a thing, right? Especially when you first get out. I was a big fan of Bioware, so the perfect storm of I live in Edmonton and this big giant AAA studio is also in the same city of me. But I remember being starstruck for probably the first month, where you're like walking down the hall and you're like, oh my god, that's David Gator. I remember talking with him like on the forums, and he's the lead writer, and oh my god, and oh, I recognize that guy. Oh, that there, there's Ray Muzica, and you just like sit back and you're like, is this real? I'm not sure what's going on. So, but after a while, you get settled in. Next thing you know, it's hey Ray, hey Allan.
So when Andromeda ships and we find problems, people can directly message you, right? That's that's what you're saying.
It is entirely my fault. Oh god, why did I?
All right, fair enough.
And sorry, maybe the call cut out, but you said Andromeda's release date was...
No.
I'm just kidding.
You catch me pretty early in the morning, my friend.
That's cool. I'm just excited. I'm just a fan.
No, that's good. I am too. It's nice. I mean, as much as I love working on Dragon Age, and there's sort of that, no, come back, I was always part of you, and now I'm not. But it's also new and exciting to be working on something different. The thing, even though I worked on Dragon Age, like I was still able to experience Mass Effect as a fan. Like, we'd have studio updates about all the games, and when the Mass Effect stuff would come on, I would like close my eyes and plug my ears and go la 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 la, because I didn't want to be spoiled. I still wanted to actually play the game.
Sure.
As a fan, because working on Dragon Age, none of those games I was able to play as a fan. I saw all the warts, I saw all the bugs that we couldn't get, and then they would just jump out at me and be like, oh, there's that thing that we wish we could have fixed, and hopefully nobody notices it. And also just, I remember playing through this level 800 times because there was all sorts of issues. And yeah, trying to do that after release is not, Dragon Age Inquisition was actually the first game that I played after release, and it was mostly just a function of my role on Dragon Age Inquisition was spending much less time in-game content, so I just didn't know as much of it. Whereas with DA0 and DA2, I had spent so much time, there was really nothing new that the game could offer me. So I was like, I remember being given a copy. I was like, hey, thanks for working on it. I was like, thank you. I'll just put this on the counter over here. So, but Mass Effect, no. I'm glad you're a fan. I think it's a fun franchise as well.
For sure. So I don't know the answer to this, and I just want to know for my own personal fulfillment. What's your favorite BioWare series or single game that you enjoyed the most?
Definitely the one that I enjoyed the most, because it's probably my most memorable experience, was Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
So, and that one I think was in part because I remember sharing this during my interview, and it seemed to impress everybody and wow them as well. It was the first game that I decided, like Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, I power game like mad. I was like a paladin with like I got a roll and everything and 18 and everything, except I didn't care about intellect, so my intellect was 3, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah, paladin. I'm with you.
There we go. I always like the idea of the Holy Avenger Warrior type.
Yes, thank you. You find somebody else gets it on this podcast. Oh my god.
There we go.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
So yeah, I was big into that, but I power gamed and I didn't care about role playing, and I would save scum like mad. But Knights of the Republic was the game where I was like, you know what, maybe I'll try doing an actual like role play my character in a way. And I was like, I'll try to be, generally a good character, but I let myself for the greater good, I'm like, I can do something evil. And then as I became slightly more and more dark side, I started to let myself become more vindictive, and just the timing of it all worked so perfectly that because there's the mission when you get to the 4th planet, Bastil is not with you anymore. So I kind of lost like that guiding mentor, and then I went on to Manon, so I was alone from everybody else. And when you're down there, there's people trying to kill you, and I just was like, this is bullshit. I'm gonna kill all you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I came up, my eyes are glowing yellow, and they clearly on that dark path. And then I hit full dark side, and it was like perfect timing. I don't know if it could have been any more perfect. Right when I got onto the hidden planet, and I basically told Basta, like, you should become my apprentice, and we should totally go all dark side. And she was like, you know what, I'm in. So I was like, that's pretty perfect timing. And just that whole playthrough was actually the first time I'd ever done an evil playthrough either. So maybe I was just unleashing my inner monster, which helped make it be memorable. 'Cause a lot of times in Bioware games and in RPGs in general, the evil playthrough tends to be deliciously entertaining with some of the dark humor that can go on. So, So yeah, that one was the one that kind of cemented. I was a big fan of Baldur's Gate 2, but Knights of the Republic, also a big Star Wars fan in general, and I was just like, this was a fantastic Star Wars experience. So that one was the one that I think hooked me for life.
Don't you love Dragon Age Origins though?
I do like Dragon Age Origins. I'm a fan.
That's one of my favorites.
All of
I could never get into Origins.
I love it.
I tried. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite.
Mass Effect 2 is like probably my favorite, but Origins is so close.
I like Mass Effect 2. Origins, I do like. Origins has the advantage compared to DA2 and DAI from the standpoint of it was basically a completed game when I first started working at Bioware. They had just started working on the Xbox and PlayStation versions, but the PC version was pretty much done. And so literally my job for the first 2 weeks was that kind of idyllic, play video games and get paid for it, because they're like, okay, our game is really huge and you need to know everything that you can about it. So that way, if we were to say, hey, go do the bug or go investigate something in Circle Tower, I know what the heck they're talking about. So yeah, for the first 2 weeks, 8 hours a day pretty much, I went into work, I sat down, and I loaded up pretty much a completed Dragon Age and played that one. So I was able to, I guess, kind of still play that one as a fan. And that was one of the things where I would get into the game, and then I would like lean back and I would like look around the room and be like, oh, yeah, I'm at work. I'm getting paid to do this. This is a thing.
Sure.
So that was fun in that regard. And it's I'm historically a PC gamer, and I think Owen probably had the most solid PC type of experience as well, and a little bit more legacy going back to Baldur's Gate type times. But like Sean said, there was mixed things as well. There are people who couldn't get into it. So for better or worse, I know I've enjoyed, as someone who works on games, trying out different things with DA2 and DAI are all different games from Dragon Age Origins. Like all 3 games are different from each other, so I like it in that regard. But you get people who are fans of the original and they're like, oh, you made changes, I didn't like it. But you get some people, oh, you made changes and I do like it. Similar to Mass Effect had that as well. I think Mass Effect 2 was a huge progression in terms of removing a lot of the clunkiness that came from the earlier Mass Effect combat, and I think it shows.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I'm very persuasive.
So, since you were saying you're doing, like, your new project is Andromeda, and that's kind of your day-to-day, how do you think that's going to affect, either positively or negatively, the final product when you sit down and just play it as a fan of, like, the game series?
It will sadly probably permanently ruin it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's just it gets played in a different way, because not only do I already have basically every major beat spoiled to me, most likely. But it's just, I also know things that, oh, we wanted to do this, but we couldn't. And, some of the near misses that a lot of fans might not see. They might look at Dragon Age Origins and go, this is super fantastic. And, like, to me, I'd be like, yeah, there's this thing that I can never tell you about, because then you'll be like, well, why didn't you ship with that? And I'm like, well, we couldn't. It wasn't working and stuff like that. So when I play through a game that I work on, you just end up, like, it's hard to forget that those things existed, and you can see the things that, even if they're well received by fans, you're like, oh, this thing, could have been so much better, but it ended up not being better. And that's a lot of things that, as a fan, you're just oblivious to, and you just see the end product, and it's hard to see the end product as exclusively the end product after you work on something.
How often do those extra ideas get just pushed into DLC?
Sometimes it depends on the way the things go. I know the DLC can be a controversial type of issue for sure. The one advantage is a lot of the times you get 80% of the way done, and it's not done on, you aren't able to finish fleshing it out. So then you can ship something, but then afterwards you still have a lot of that work that already exists, and you're like, well, can we actually find a way to still make this work, as opposed to let's continue getting something that is built completely from scratch. And even going back, DLC to me is just another way of, it's content expansion. And back in the day we had expansion packs, and there were the expansion content for the original Baldur's Gate. I think it was its Tales of the Sword Coast is what it was called. And, a lot of that stuff was stuff that wanted to make its way into the main game, but they're just like, oh, we're running out of time, or we can't do this thing the way that as well as we want. So it's just an opportunity to take some of those ideas that you wanted to originally get in and see if you can now flesh them out in the future product. Because, ideally, we'd all love to get in as much, if we can get in the entire world times 20, we would. And games are basically the reality of, okay, here's everything that we want to do. Okay, well, we can't do that, so let's find what slice we want to do. And sometimes you get experiments that just don't work, or you'll get characters that started to get written, but you realize that they're not going to be able to get done in time. So those are the types of things that you can look at and go, hey, is this something that we can do post-launch?
Right.
Well, we'll continue on with the podcast here. I'm thinking we don't have a whole lot of questions like we usually do. We don't have 10 pages worth of weird shit to go through. So if people have interesting questions or whatever they want to ask to you directly, Allan, maybe just tweet TDP podcast, and when we get to that point, make it specific, this is for Allan or whatever, I'll grab some of them. Nothing to do with the size of his job, or nothing to do with Mass Effect, production, obviously. But if you want to know anything, we'll do that. But for right now, I want to know, what have you been playing this week, Allan?
So this week, I think you mentioned it on Twitter, you were noticing it, but was in a Cyberpunk kick. Shadowrun Hong Kong was a big thing that I was playing. And then once I finished that up, I was still feeling the cyberpunk lust, and I ended up getting into Invisible Ink as well, which a little bit less overt combat-y, but still having that interesting setting in a more stealth type environment. And I guess also turn-based strategy. They actually probably play relatively similar, but I really enjoyed Hong Kong though. I was a big fan of the first two, and this one was just sort of, we're going to keep being awesome.
Yeah, you were saying you didn't have a whole lot of experience with the pen and paper aspect. So do you think that for Shadowrun, because I've been trying to get into the pen and paper type deal for that, and it is so overly complicated. Do you think video games might be the best way to kind of get the basic idea of that whole game and systems down?
Possibly. I can't speak for the pen and paper aside from hearing that it's very complicated. One thing, I actually don't play much pen and paper, but I do play a lot of RPGs and the nice thing about them is they take care of a lot of the rule deliberation and all of that. So, how exactly does the system work? How does this combat resolve? I'm not out having to go, okay, do I need to roll 3d6 for this, or is it 2d6? I can't remember, because the game takes care of a lot of that. So in terms of mechanics, it can be overwhelming. if you're just jumping into something brand new, I think. But you're, no matter what, pen and paper, there's going to be the narrative, there's going to be the setting and that sort of stuff. So if you want to jump into a cyberpunk type setting, I think that their games do a fantastic job of that, and they take care of a lot of the character creation. I didn't find the character creation to be obtuse or anything like that, and even though I didn't really know what it meant to be a street samurai, and I went in and I was like, oh, okay, shamans use charisma. Okay, you've told me that now, game. Now I understand. Okay, if I want to do summons and stuff like that and do those types of things, that's the arc I go down. So I probably am able to leverage the fact that I have a lot of RPG experience. So if someone had never played an RPG before ever, then it's going to be might be too much. But I think RPGs are a good way to get into, because they take care of a lot of the mundane.
Yeah, for Shadowrun, I really like how they deal with that stuff, because when you're doing like the pen and paper and building your character, you're looking at like stats for your body, your charisma, your reflex, and all this stuff, and that kind of is the basis of what some of the skills you can get later, and it can get really convoluted and complicated almost instantly. Whereas in this game, you kind of like, it'll have like the heading, it'll say like body, and then it'll be like what abilities you want, and it'll give a brief explanation as to what that ability is and like what you can upgrade it to. And that's really nice, like really streamlined for people to be able to just see everything they want easily. There's still a lot to go through, but I think you can make a more informed decision about what you're getting into that way, which I think is super important, especially for that game. That game is crazy big.
Yeah, no, I agree with the character, like the characters, like I guess screen. I can't. My words aren't working very well, but yeah, like just looking at your detailed page and you can see, okay, this has a dime. I thought their user interface was actually pretty well done, and you can like, okay, at body 5, I'm going to get an upgrade. What does that mean? Oh, okay, this means that I'm able to, resist X damage or whatever. And it was written in English, and it was easy to understand. Okay, at no point was I, okay, you're going to give me this thing, but I'm not sure what that is actually going to do for me. So I think they did a good job with that for sure.
My only experience with Shadowrun was that one from like 2007.
Don't say it. Not the 360 game.
Yeah.
No.
This sounds so different.
So the 360 game is a Quake-like arena first-person shooter match where you're trying to fight over using magic.
And it was like a class-based multiplayer game, and I remember it was getting touted like you can play with the PC version as well, like back and forth. That was its big thing.
That's right.
From hearing your guys' description, this sounds completely different.
Yes, that is set in the Shadowrun mythos, or like that whole world sort of thing. But Shadowrun itself is a cyberpunk RPG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, its cores are like, for lack of a better comparison, just D&D or stuff like that. Like I think even the old Super Nintendo or Sega games were still more RPG than action.
Yes.
And I actually have a friend who he worked on the shooter game, and he remembers going, the shooter game, because I think most fans of Shadowrun were hoping for something more like what the Shadowrun Hairbrain was able to do. They like that RPG type stuff.
Yeah. They went with a weird first-person shooting deathmatch with powers, which is still a kind of okay way to go about it, but not exactly what people were expecting.
It reminds me a lot of I was a big Fallout fan, and I remember there being a whole bunch of outrage when there was a game, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, and you basically played a Brotherhood paladin, and it was a shooter type game, and people were like, where's at the time Fallout 3, why did you give us this type thing? Because people really love the first 2 RPGs. So.
Yeah, for sure. What did you play in Shadowrun? I need to know. What was your class? What was your race? All of it.
I'm boring. I was a human. And just a human man, nothing too special in that regard. I find decking interesting. I tend to like playing hacker type characters, and then just for weapon stuff, I also had assault rifles. So when the shit hit the fan, I was actually very charismatic in this most recent one. I actually really like the charisma system where you get the various etiquettes, and I like that type of reactivity where I can talk my way out because I have the training of this particular way to speak with, this is a corporate stooge, and then I have the corporate etiquette, so I can pick something that will be very, convincing for him. So I really like that. So I had to, even though I didn't use anything beyond just the charisma scores, excuse me. Yeah. Sorry. Just hold on a second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Sorry, I just need a drink. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, the charismatic hacking shooter dude, I guess, would probably be the best.
Deckers are badass, man. They're really cool.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of the Matrix and the fact that like you can be in there doing things like during combat while other stuff is going on, and there's like one of the missions where there's traps that are nearby. So, and there was a jack-in, so my character went in and I was providing cover with the rest of my party, and then, suddenly it's my turn and I'm running around in the Matrix and doing all these crazy things, avoiding all the various ICs and stuff like that. And I was like, this is actually really cool because, like, everything happens really fast. It seems like I get, several turns in a row because I'm just hacking away in the Matrix, and then suddenly it pulls me back and says, okay, well, you need to make sure you protect your guy because people are going to be taking pot shots at him while he's vulnerable. And I was like, it's actually really cool. And then I tripped the trap, and everybody on that side dies because they're standing in a pool of water or something, and I shorted out some circuit box, and I was like, yeah, that felt pretty badass.
Yeah. How long is that game, roughly, Hong Kong?
I have my Steam. It looks like I beat it in 17 hours. I don't think I had too much in terms of idle time. I didn't have any leftover quests or anything like that, so I got through all of them. So, probably 15 to 20 hours is if you're fairly comfortable with RPGs, I'd say.
Okay. That seems pretty manageable for an RPG.
It's not too bad. I'm starting to actually, I think I like that time more. 15 years ago, I was like, give me 60 hours, but sometimes 60 hours. I'm getting old. I'm 34 now. I'm not 18, and finding the time sometimes can be hard. And if I find with a really long game, if I can't finish it and you got to leave and then you come back and then suddenly it's like I'm 20 hours in and I don't remember what I was doing or anything like that, it can be hard to finish the game then. So
yeah, I kind of just stop playing altogether when it gets to that point where it's like, it's been a week. Where the hell am I? Oh, this is where I was. Turn the console off and go do something else.
Yeah.
So you've also okay, there we go. You have also been playing Invisible Ink.
Yeah, I've only just gotten started into that one. Again, it has a really kind of surprising beginning where I guess you're part of a spy agency and suddenly gets exposed, and I wasn't expecting it to go quite the way that it did. And it sounds like the basic idea is you need to find out a way to protect yourself. So you have in-game time limits. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the game, but
we both played when it was in early access. Do you remember that, Paul?
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us really liked it.
No, they fixed the problems we had with it, actually.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I tend to avoid early access with it. I think partly because I work in QA, I see early access and I'm like, I know what it's like to play a game that's not quite done yet, and sometimes there's issues with that. And I find on Steam, early access can mean a wide range of things. I think like Prison Architect's in early access, and it might as well be a complete game. And then you get some games it's early access, and you can't do too much. So I have enough on my Steam plates that I tend to avoid early access stuff. But
I think I was just so excited because I like Clay a lot. And what was the stealth game just before this
Mark
one?
Mark of the Ninja.
I loved Mark of the Ninja so much.
Good. That's why I picked up Invisible Ink.
I don't like Mark of the Ninja.
Well, you're wrong. So.
Yeah, you're a bad person.
I don't like Bioware anymore either.
That's fair. I can understand that.
I work for them. I get it.
But no, Clay I thought did fantastic. I really like Mark of the Ninja, and this one I'm enjoying it. It's a interesting idea. There was a mission and it was like, hey, we can free this person. I go in and free it. Suddenly I have a third agent that I was running around with, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And so it's also some people may or may not like this. It's procedurally generated levels, so. Yeah. I like that because it keeps it fresh if I need to come back in or if I want to try replaying on a harder difficulty or stuff like that. So I think it has a good system.
It's tactics, right?
Yeah.
I always like tactic strategy games, so that's also what drew me to that.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know if you get a chance to throw it on the wish list and get it on Steam sale. And I guess if you early access it, you might already have it. I don't know how all early accesses work or not, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have it, and like when it actually released, we just got a patch download for the completed file.
It wouldn't surprise me. So, but I don't even. I think to its advantage, it sounds like the main campaign won't actually be that difficult or that lengthy to complete, and I think they're kind of like, okay, you can do this, but now you can give yourself extra challenges. There's new game plus and then extra challenge mode replay stuff. So so far it's got me hooked for being a pretty fun, good art aesthetic that I find fits the game pretty well, and it's pleasing to look at.
For sure. You know, the whole like storyline of you're basically on the run, like you're kind of on the fringe right now and you have 72 hours or whatever to get this stuff done. Yeah, that wasn't in early access, so that made me hate the fact that there was a time limit for no reason. But now it makes sense. Like, just little things like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, they actually added a game mode. They must have added it because one of the things that was just called, like, run a business mode or something like that, which is, it doesn't have any of the narrative stuff, and it is just, do as many missions as you possibly can. There's no time limit, and eventually, I think, my understanding is just that, eventually it gets so hard that you probably can't complete it. So it's kind of like your gauntlet mode of doing industrial espionage missions.
Yeah, that sounds cool. One of the things I didn't like is that every action you did in that game, like in the early access before there was a reason for it, everything that you did in that game kind of made the alarm level go up as you kept going. So no matter what, it was kind of forcing you to like finish a mission and leave. It didn't want you to take your time, it felt like. But there's a reason narratively why now, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder if that was... Yeah, I wonder if that was always in the plan, or if it sounds like it might have been feedback from you. Like, why is this a thing? I don't understand, because I'm just sitting here. There's no reason that you should be having an alarm. Why are you detecting that I'm hiding in this corner or something like that? But definitely, I felt it fit narratively. So yeah, if they made those types of changes, it sounds like it was for the better.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Have you been playing anything else?
Actually, I got back into. I don't know if you played Payday 2.
Oh my god, I've played...
Paul is super into Payday 2.
Well, sometimes I'm looking for a fourth. What's your Steam handle? So,
and the guy who's on sick leave is also super into Payday 2.
After we're done here, I can give you a dossier of 25 people that would play with you at any time. There's so many people I know that play Payday.
Yeah, I played it like a year ago or so, something like that. And yeah, I really love it then. And then you just, you get tired with the game, and then came back. I don't know, like, if you played it recently, like, as well, because they ended up adding in some of like the pre-planning stuff that wasn't there, a year plus ago. And I was like, oh wow, this is really good. Where you can spend favors and money and stuff like that on
the pre-planning mode.
The pre-planning mode was like, wow, this is so much more interesting than it used to be. So, and some of the new heist missions that came along with it, some of like the Big Bank. And I think there was a diamond heist and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, these are just so well done missions. It was like, they've learned, like, okay, here's what works, here's what doesn't work. So now we're going to make these really cool, elaborate missions. And I was really enjoying those. And when you have a giant pig on the end of a crane and you're covering the guys, he zip lines across, and, you got FBI dudes coming down and all of that. So I was like, yep, this is fun again. So that was... actually, just got a friend pinged me. He's like, "Hey, you want to play some Payday 2?" So I might do that after this.
Fair enough. Cool. I haven't played Payday 2 for a while. I got sick of it because I like to play that game full stealth, and there's only a handful of missions that really... There's only one actual mission where you have to do full stealth, and I want there to be more, and there's only a handful that do full stealth well.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. My friends, we usually try to start off full stealth, and then we just roll with it if it doesn't. Often, if you're playing on a hard difficulty, it means you're going to get your butt handed to you because you're fighting skulldozers come storming in, and you're like, oh, well, that was a good game, guys, and I'm in my two-piece suit. But yeah, there is a rush. I can't remember. I think it was just 4 stores, and we did it on like overkill difficulty with my friend, and this the whole time, and it's like just like this nervous tension. I swear I had beads of sweat coming down like the side of my face, going, oh god, there's someone coming, okay, they turned around, okay, as we're waiting for the drill, those precious 30 seconds remaining. So I do like the stealth missions the best, and I think that I haven't had a chance to do them too well. We did the diamond one, 95% stealth until I screwed up, got careless. We already used our 4-pagers, and then I'm just like, guys, I'm sorry.
What part did you screw up?
We had just gotten the we got past the lasers, we gotten all the lock boxes, so we were basically one room away from the diamond itself, and we were just waiting for the time locks to go. And then I just took out our the fourth guard, the 4th pager, and hid the body in some place, and then while I was running back, I just got spotted by someone else, and I was just like, shit. I wish I had been more careful. And then, shit hit the fan. But it was still fun, and it was oddly, like, enjoyable to be like, guys, we were so close, because there's like that part of you is like, I bet we could do it next time. So, yeah, the stealth stuff is the most fun. I agree.
The best comment in the chat I've seen so far: Payday 2 PDT, which is TDP backwards, Illuminati. That's so good.
No, it was well done. I don't know if you played the original. I enjoyed the original, but the second one was that we're just going to make this even better and give a wider variety of missions and planning and stuff like that. So.
The original was like, we want to make a heist movie video game.
Yep.
And then the second one is, we want to make a video game where you do heists. Like, it plays better.
Probably the fair point. I mean, the second mission on this in the original was basically Heat. And I think it even made a reference to Heat on it. And I love Heat, and it was still fun, but...
I think it was called Heat Street.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And I remember it went on so long, by the end, we had one bot with us, and we're like, he has to shoot everybody because we're all out of ammo, and then we'll go grab the ammo of the people that he killed because he seems to be invincible, and have infinite ammo because he's a bot. But I did enjoy it. But yeah, I think your description is pretty astute. It was no longer, let's make a movie into a video game. It is now, let's make a game where you do heist type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So that's everything for you?
That's been the most of it. Yeah, it's been the past couple of weeks or that. So,
Sean, what the hell have you been doing since you haven't been here last week?
Right. Yeah. No, my mom was in town, so that's why I was out. Well, I mean, I know you saw what I put down, but I'll actually talk about it this week. I've been playing some Tomb Raider Go. Have you been playing, Paul? I know you downloaded it.
A little bit. It's okay. So this is the same problem I have with mobile games. I was saying, I don't like doing little swipes as your main thing, which is like this.
Okay, I mean that's true.
But
I mean you were fine with Hitman Go.
Yeah, but I only played like an hour of it. I stopped playing it too.
Oh man,
because I hate playing things on the phone just in general, unless it's really, really original or like feels good. Okay. And Tomb Raider Go is great, but it's not something I will pick up and just like play anytime.
Okay, I mean I'm really enjoying it, and I think I like Hitman Go more just because of the whole like it's a board game, and they went so far with that kind of aesthetic.
Yes,
but Tomb Raider Go. It's basically the same without the board game part. You're just kind of going through caves and stuff, and it takes a while before the puzzles get difficult. But you know, it's still good. So if you enjoyed Hitman Go, you'll probably enjoy Tomb Raider Go.
Do you do more tomb raiding?
I mean, you're in tombs the whole time.
Yeah.
So I guess
you do find treasures.
There's treasures.
Yeah. I enjoyed the remake that came out, but there was that part of me that was like, I wish I was doing more they'd have the handful type stuff. So I was like, if there's a mobile game that has more of the, exploration puzzle type stuff that, of the tomb raiding aspect, my interest might be piqued. I was actually just
that is literally all this is a puzzle like moving around a tomb sort of board game type thing.
Yeah. No, it's very board game like.
Possible that Paul might be wrong again, so we'll have to see.
But yeah, I would look into either of those two games if no one's ever played them. Those are definitely a lot of fun. And then a big chunk of my week I've been playing Super Mario Maker.
It's out tomorrow. Oh man,
it comes out tomorrow. That's correct.
Yeah. Do you have like early access for it, or?
I got a review code for it, so I'll be.
La-di-da.
Yes.
Are you allowed to talk too much about it? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I can say anything. Yeah, no, reviews are up and stuff. I think the embargo was later or halfway last week. So ask me anything about Super Mario Maker.
Is it Mario?
It's all the Mario you could possibly think of, except for Super Mario Bros. 2.
As someone who works in games, I find that because that's a way for people to basically like, yeah, like, can you create your own adventure type stuff? And it only recently popped up on my radar, but it was, oh wait, what's this type thing? Because I like seeing what people can do, like, whether it be mods or whatnot.
Yeah. So in order to unlock anything in that game, you're forced to create stages. So even though I'm generally don't want to create my own levels. I like playing other people's. In order to like unlock everything, I have to, and I'm actually quite getting into it. So that's definitely a really cool thing to see.
That's interesting. Like, do you have to build it like within a particular like standard? I mean, I could create a level that is trivial where I walk to the flag and touch it, or do
no, you can do that if you want, yeah, and then you can upload it, and other people can do it. And they even though because like how many different Mario aesthetics do they have in there? They have Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Bros. And a lot of those or I should say, a lot of the like items and whatnot weren't in like the past games, but they like retroactively made them. So you can see like an 8-bit Yoshi, even though he wasn't in Super Mario Bros. But he needs to be if you're choosing to use that aesthetic.
Oh,
so that's definitely really cool too. Another really cool thing, you can just put sound effects everywhere. You can even record your own sound effect and put it in your level. So if you want every time Mario jumps on like a spring to have like a fart noise, you can record that if you want and put it in your level and upload it.
Great. It's everywhere.
It's kind of crazy just how much you can do with this game. And then I will say though, the one issue, which I understand they're fixing, but the one issue up to this point was in order to unlock everything, it was gated by time. So let's say it would basically say something like, hey, play around in the creation mode for 5 minutes to queue up the next delivery. And a delivery will come tomorrow. Like you can't use any of the new stuff until tomorrow. So then you come in the next day and you're playing and it says, hey, here's your new set of items. You can now use this stuff, play around with them for at least 5 minutes, and then you can queue up the next delivery. And from reading, it seems like it takes a solid 9 days to get everything. Which that's kind of a bummer. I understand they're doing that so that no one gets like overwhelmed with all the possible stuff right off the bat. But it does kind of suck when you're like, oh man, I just really wish I had like the flamethrower thing right now. This would be perfect for my stage. It's the one thing I need, which is what I actually ran into. So I just had to kind of like try and remember that while still forcing myself to do 5 minutes of work or whatever. I was reading that they're doing an update today that's going to be changing that so that it's like every 15 minutes, or it's like people haven't quite figured out how long it takes to queue those updates, if it's 15 minutes or if it's placing a certain number of items and then it unlocks. But either way, I have to do a little more testing around with that. But that was my one issue, and it seems like they're fixing it. Other than that, it's great. Unlimited Mario levels. They even have, if you guys have played the N Way of the Ninja games, when there's a lot of those, like, the level will play itself and it just pushes the ninja around. A bunch of people have done that for Mario. So you can just watch Mario run through a stage.
I did see one that was literally just a bunch of sound effects from like different stuff in the Mario world doing the Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. As you get pushed through. That's a great video.
Okay. I'm sure that has been the case, yeah.
That's what I love about these types of things is the internet, as scary and as it might be sometimes, it is such a source for like infinite creativity as well, where I'm like, I can't believe someone just did that, and I'm so glad that they did.
That's what I liked about Little Big Planet before that went down the shitter, is seeing all the custom levels.
I'm seeing in the chat, someone's actually saying that apparently they cut out personal audio in anything uploaded to prevent abuse.
That makes sense.
That's kind of a bummer. But
that is a bummer.
Right. But all it probably takes is one person who did something that was way, way over the line, and then game over for everybody. So
yeah, this is still Nintendo we're talking about here at the end of the day. So
yeah. So right now, my current map that I've been working on, I'll give you the pitch for it. I have a whole bunch of Goombas up in the top left corner. Like,
I'm in.
I don't know, like 30 of them or something. And they're in basically like a box with one little exit, and then the exit leads right to Mario. And then you're running down this like height level through these like tunnels while these Goombas are chasing you, and I'm like having different ways of slowing Mario down, so you're kind of getting chased by this like wave of Goombas the whole time.
So it's like an endless runner sort of thing with something chasing you.
I guess
like things are trying to slow you.
Right, but you're like going down little I don't know, corridors, then you're bouncing up springs, and the Goombas can go on the springs as well, so they're following you up. And so I think I'm about halfway through it, and then I'll upload that.
This sounds pretty good. That's sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. When you jump on some of the springs, a bird noise gets made.
There you go.
Very nice. I guess you just did like the one height, so you can't just stomp on all the Goombas. And
exactly. In places where like I needed more height for whatever reason, I just put spikes up there so you can't jump. Otherwise, yeah, you would just defeat the Goombas, and that would defeat the whole purpose of it.
No, I like that though. It's a creative way of using, because it's a Goomba. It's a thing that you have to go run and jump up onto, and you're like, nope.
And that's like another really interesting fact is like I'm learning so much about making Mario levels. Like I had everything with just standard blocks originally, but then I realized, oh wait a sec, if Mario gets underneath these and just jumps up, he'll be able to take out all the Goombas. So I had to completely remap my entire thing with solid blocks. And like I keep coming into all these things of like, oh, I didn't think of that.
You're learning. You're actually learning level design.
I was like, oh my god, he's starting to get it.
Yeah.
Do you find actually? I mean, I guess just for myself, I've done things helping out. At like the local Edmonton Space Science Center or Odysseum, or I don't even know what we call it now. But and yeah, you'll get like youth camps that go and making games. Like, is there part of you that goes, oh hey, I get a little bit extra appreciation for some of the challenges that because you're first you're like, oh, I got the perfect solution, but then you ended up doing this, and it's like, you know what, I need to actually go back and change absolutely everything because I realize that it actually isn't going to work the way that I had hoped for.
Yeah, no. There's been several cases where I've had to like redo things significantly just because of whatever reason, or with the whole like gating my progression of the items I unlock. It's like, oh, this thing came out, and it's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. That would completely make this better. I have to completely redo this part of the map, and so on and so on.
I'm interested to see what TDP members do. We should get people that buy Mario Maker to send us some. And like we'll try them out and talk.
I'm sure they're gonna want John to for sure. So
yeah, for sure.
That's out tomorrow. So get hype for that.
Oh, the amiibo support. How's that?
I actually haven't used it yet. I do have my one amiibo, which I found in a box yesterday. I didn't know where it was. So I think it just gets you like costumes because, you can basically put like any character that's in Smash Bros. Or that has an amiibo, I should say, into a mushroom. So instead of Mario becoming Big Mario, he becomes Link. Or he becomes Marth. But it'll be like an 8-bit one if you're using that aesthetic, which is cool too. So I think that's all it does give you. Actually, I should say there's more costumes in that because I got someone from WarioWare the other day, which was definitely really cool. So yeah, there's a lot in there, and there's all these like I should even say there's all these like little hidden stuff as well. For whatever reason, I don't know how I spawned this. I was customizing my stage, and all of a sudden, flies came out of the sides,
like from the Mario paint, that type of fly.
Yeah,
nice.
And so my stylus turned into a fly swatter, and I swatted the 3 flies.
Nice.
And then instead of the creation mode, that went away, and now I was playing some fly swatter mini game for I don't know how many levels, but it was go until you could. It was like a time trial thing. That's just in there for.
That was the best part of Mario Paint. Oh my god, I need this game.
There's just so many like weird little things in there. Tons to find. So
cool.
Yes. What else have I been playing? I've been playing Forza 6.
Cool.
I don't know when that comes out. I think it's next week. Sometime next week.
How's that?
I don't like simulation racers, so this one's kind of hard to play through.
Oh, Forza, you said. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Forza 6,
I know what game we're talking about,
Yeah. I'm a much bigger fan of Forza Horizon, because those are basically arcade racers.
Sure.
But I will say, Forza 6, that game looks real nice. It makes me use the brake button, and I just want to hit the go button and dodge stuff.
Unless you
boost.
Unless you want to do that Tokyo drift. That's the only time you should ever put a brake button in.
Sure. That's true. Pull that e-brake.
Yeah.
I like the simulation. The original Gran Turismo on PlayStation was like my first time going, oh my god, a racing game that I absolutely love, especially because basically the way it was to me was this is like an RPG and your cars, because you're like upgrading. I'm winning money. That's basically my XP. I'm spending my XP on a new ROM tuner for improve that 8 extra horsepower that's so precious to me and stuff like that. So
that's the nerdiest way I've ever heard that described.
Because I wouldn't describe myself as like a car person at all, and I played some racing game, test drives and stuff like way back in like the early '90s, and I was like, okay, this is fun. But that I was just like, there's like this mechanic about it and skill that I really appreciated, and it was funny because I remember the instruction manual for that book was like, we're going to teach you how to drift. I'm like, okay, and it's like, go to a dirt parking lot, and I was like, wait a minute, I think it's actually going to teach me, Alan, in a car how to drift. And it's like, you need to go here, you need to hit the brakes. I'm like, there's no dirt track level in the game. I don't know what it's talking about. And I realized, like, it is actually teaching the reader, this is what you need to do to drift. And then, so once I started to learn that, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then understanding for it, I was able to, like you said, nerdily break it down into mini problems.
Please tell me it taught you how to drift in real life and that you tried it.
I did not try because I'm like, I'm just gonna fuck this up and crash my car. I can afford that, in video game land. I can reboot, and most of them they don't even have damage. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious. When my local school, because I lived out in the country at the time, had a big giant dirt parking lot, and as I would drive by, I would kind of side eye and go, I could try, but I had a front wheel drive car too, which makes it hard. So.
Oh, well, man. You wait for when it's snowy, right? Like that's when my friends would typically drift.
Everybody's done that. I mean,
like you find like an intersection and you just pull that e-brake, and of course you're going to start.
Or a
drifting.
parking lot, like a school parking lot, after Christmas break's been let out or something.
Like a mall or something too. Yeah.
I'd say anyone who lives in Canada who says that they have not at least tried that once is just being a bald-faced liar.
It's fucking scary though. When it goes, it's too scary sometimes. Like I don't do it anymore, but.
My friend would do it in his minivan. So there was just like too many of us in this huge thing drifting in like a residential neighborhood, just at an intersection. Oh, we were idiots.
Yeah, that's really dangerous.
Some ultra like top heavy car, all you need to hit is like a patch of solid pavement and suddenly your tires grab and go for a roll or something like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It would have been fun.
But anyway, that's kind of what Forza 6 is like, I guess. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of that Horizon does is Horizon will have like a soundtrack, whatever hits or whatever singles and stuff. This one just has like orchestral epic music at all times, which is just not as like. I mean, I guess that some people could be way into that, but I kind of just preferred like jamming out to whatever songs, often that I would know. This is just probably like a personal thing, but so there's that. Apart from that, though, the game looks gorgeous, and again, like the UI is fantastic, and it's like it almost seems like super professional. And I don't want to say clinical because that seems almost negative, but it's just a really nice presented game for sure.
Like polished, maybe, I guess, or
sure, that one definitely works too, and it has the whole like built-in customize your car thing, like the way it looks really? In terms of like all the paint jobs. So you can get all the crazy looking cars for I guess free. And I guess that's another thing because a lot of people were upset with Forza 5 because of all the microtransactions. I haven't seen like any of those.
That's good.
Granted, I haven't looked too in depth, but nothing has popped out with me just normal, like playing it like a normal dude. So
hopefully that's the case. I can understand people having issue with that. I think a lot of it is kind of experimenting and then going, oh shit, people didn't like that. Next one, we should never do that. So
yeah, it seems like I think that. Came back.
Fans need. Yep.
And then last game I've been playing this week, Games with Gold has the Deer God on it.
How good is it?
Deer God is just a weird game. It's a really weird game.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of fun though. I've been playing a lot. It's hard to kind of tell. I guess I'll set up what the Deer God is. You're a hunter, I believe, who shoots a deer, and then the deer gods like kidnap you and turn you into a baby deer. And then your quest is to just keep moving right forever. I don't really know why yet, but I'm an adult deer now because over time you grow up. You can double jump. You can shoot fireballs. Sometimes you find a giant hydra monster in a cave, that it says boss on the screen. So I'm gonna defeat it for whatever reason. There's also a hunger meter, and sometimes you find ghosts. Actually, you definitely find ghosts. There's a lot of ghosts in the game. Every animal always wants to hurt you, so you got to just run away from them. Panthers are dicks. I'll say that. There's a lot of spikes, and it's just a lot of running and double jumping. But it's fun. I've been chilling out with it. It's a bit hard to get into. I would have said that. I was dying a lot at the beginning, but now I got like 11 lives locked up. I totally figured it out. Paul, how you seem to have known a bit about this game. Have you played much?
No, I haven't played any. That's why I want to know.
Okay, yeah. So it is on Steam. It came out in February, I think it was, of this year.
Yeah, a long time ago. It feels like anyway.
But from what I understand, I think you're just trying to like. Honestly, I don't know. You're trying to do something so you can turn back into a human. But I'm looking at the achievement. It's like, the achievements, and it's like, you haven't ridden a train yet. And I'm like, where would I find a train? I'm in the forest this entire time, and sometimes I'm in like the it's like completely wilderness. Like, and then, yeah, I don't really know. My one issue is that it's hard to see the deer from the background with the pixelated art style. That's my one problem with it, especially at night. It's real hard.
I would actually agree. I'm just looking up like screenshot. I'm like, dear God, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, it's a weird game. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it looks like it's just on the screenshots in your description. Yeah, like just like a platformer of pixel style graphics, and yeah, you shoot fireballs, I guess.
Yeah, if I had to like relate the graphics to something specific, I'd probably pick like Sword and Sorcery, because it's kind of got that like long pixel aesthetic.
Definitely, yeah, it definitely has that.
Yeah, like a 3D pixel.
Yeah, a bit, yeah. And like the background does move kind of like parallax to it, so there is some kind of like 2.5D depth there.
Yeah.
But
the game
again,
only
like sometimes
like
the deer is really hard to pick out, and at night it's like I'm constantly just like, oh, taking damage. I guess there was a snake there. I don't know. Like I said, everything's trying to kill you. But it's weird, and yeah, if you have a Xbox Live Gold, it's free at the moment, so you might as well try it out. I fought a turtle. I don't know, like it was a giant turtle. I don't know why, but for some reason, this one deer was like, "Hey, I'm the Thunder God. Please go beat this turtle." And I was like, "Okay, yes, sir."
Why does the Thunder God need your help? That seems.
I don't. Why is the Thunder God another deer?
Well, that makes sense, but.
Duh.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
I guess that's true. That's true. That's all I played. Paul, what have you been playing? You've been playing some big titles.
Oh man, the biggest titles. So I'm so fucking stoked, man. I finally tried out Hatsune Miku Project Mirai DX or whatever on the 3DS.
Don't ask me.
I tried out the demo. I'm gonna go buy that game straight out, man. It's so fucking good. Hatsune Miku, man. Yeah.
So it's like a rhythm game?
Yes, it is a rhythm game. It's cute. It's a cute little game. I like it a lot. I actually do really like it a lot. I'm probably gonna purchase it.
What is it like? Elite Beat Agents? Like what kind of? What are you
like
doing?
It's like the other Hatsune Miku games. You pushing buttons or tapping on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
so it's like Parappa the Rappa.
You know what? Kind of. But yeah.
I remember playing that on the demo disc from my PlayStation when I got it.
Parappa the Rapper?
Yep.
Oh man, don't even talk to me about Parappa right now. I'm so angry at Cheep Cheep the cooking chicken. I hate that level. It's the worst level. Anyways, yeah, I've been playing the 3DS demo for Hatsune Miku, and it's really, really great, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been playing more Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, though. And
that's like the talk of the town right now.
I've parsed all my feelings about it. That is the game with every game mechanic ever introduced in gaming put into it. There's too many mechanics in that game, and they all work exceedingly well.
Nice.
Because of that, what I go to Metal Gear for, which is an overabundant amount of crazy story, there isn't enough of. It is too mechanics focused this time. And I don't like that.
Open world, I think?
It is, yeah, it is open world. You, like, sneak around a lot or shoot people. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, that's kind of what the good thing about it is that you can tackle any mission or situation that you have to do in any way you want. It's really open, and you can, like, there's a research and development team sort of thing, so you can, like, research better weapons and, like, upgrades.
Better boxes.
Better boxes, better, like, suits to wear, like camo, everything. There is so much, like, free-to-play mechanic bullshit in this, where it's just, like, waiting to build, like, more of your base, or, like, moving around personnel in your base to make other things, like to level up whatever whatever area you need to level up to, like, make a new item. There's so many weird little micro things going on in this game, but the thing that makes it really good is that the sneaking and the stealth is really, really good. Like, it is probably the best that they've done in the series so far. And it's pretty impressive considering, like, they've made a bullshit in the past. Like, with Metal Gear Solid 4, the way the sneaking worked is that you had the optical camo, which basically, like, turned you into your surroundings, and that's how people wouldn't find you. And this is just straight up, like, you're just wearing camo, you're a dude. But, like, if you stay in the shadows, you'll be harder to see. Like, if you stay... You can, like, basically stand in front of somebody if you stop moving and kind of, like... just, like, get down on the ground, so you're harder to see at night and stuff like that. Like, it's very, very well done, but I need more dumb Metal Gear shit every half an hour. I need a half an hour cutscene after every hour of gameplay. It's not giving me the, like, shots of Metal Gear I need or expect. There's too much grinding out for shit that I don't like. Like, right now, I want to go for the sniper rifle that shoots tranquilizer darts, so I can, like, because I don't like killing people in these games. I like tranking everybody or choking them out or whatever. And especially in this game where you Fulton them out, you tie them up to a balloon and send them to your base for, like, benefits. So I really like just tranquilizing and stealing everybody, basically. So, like, weapons that do damage.
You can steal everything, right? Like,
you can
animals?
steal everything, yeah. The best one is you steal a, like, little wolf puppy, and he's just, like, hanging out with you, and he's all cute when you come back to base, and he's trying to jump onto the helicopter, but can't, because he's too small. His legs aren't big enough yet. Like, it's fucking adorable.
Is this the D-Dog I've been hearing a lot about?
It is the D-Dog. Everything in this game is the D something.
Right.
Yeah. But, I don't know, man. It's not what I come to a Metal Gear game for. It is probably the perfect game mechanically that has come out this year, because everything they have tried to do, they've done with such polish that it just feels super good to pick up and play. But I need more dumb story beats. I need more silliness every now and then. I need more terrible things happening, and I need less of standing around in a desert for 3 hours trying to get one mission done.
I don't know. I've been hearing a ton of, like, silly stuff. Like, well, hang on. There's apparently, like, cassette tapes you can listen to.
Sure.
One of which is actually just a dude taking a shit.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Well, what you do is, like, you can like, go into the porta potties and then play that so guards won't go try to open up the porta potty.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Of course.
Which, that's ridiculous.
This is what I'm talking about. There's so many little mechanics, and they all work well, that you want to play it. Like, it feels really good because you can do whatever the fuck you want and it works, but there's not enough of the stupid shit that you get brought into. Like, the first hour of that game is, like, mind-blowing crazy, and I'm about 10 hours in now, and there hasn't been another point of that at all, which is insane for a Hideo Kojima game. Like, in 10 hours, I only got 1 hour of story? What the hell?
I hear there's more at the end, but
well, yeah,
I've also been hearing, like, the game's like 50 hours. So
yeah, there's people on my friends list, like, y'all need to go back to school or go to church or get a job or something, because there's no way people should have 80 hours in 3 days in a game.
Right.
Maybe they just left it running while they slept.
Oh no, I know these people. They were there every minute.
I remember those days.
But I've also been hearing a lot of, like, it is, like, the best, like, video game Metal Gear Solid game.
Like I said, mechanically, this year, just straight out, it is the best mechanically, like, solid video game, period, of this year.
Right, there you go.
But I don't, but for what I want in a Metal Gear game, it's not there. It's just not. it's still such a good game though that like you play it. So you play it, you shut up, and you just recognize it for the good stuff it does. That's kind of what it is for me.
I can understand what you're saying, though. Like, I only played the first Metal Gear Solid, and I don't play too many console games, and have the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3, so I missed out on the sequels. But, you know, I loved hearing about the stories, and then the fan discussion of going with, like, what was it, like the one at Ocelot, I think, in number 3, where he, like, manually ejects a cartridge from a semi-automatic pistol, and Snake comments, like, oh, you tried doing this, like, super hardcore, ultra elite, like, special forces move, and I'm like, that's such total bullshit. No one would ever do that.
I will say a thing I like is that with Kiefer Sutherland taking over the job of voicing Snake, I'm glad that Snake / Big Boss doesn't talk like hardly at all, because I hate Kiefer Sutherland as him. It's not.
But when
right.
you upgrade your arm, you get the rocket punch, and then he shouts rocket punch every time before he hits someone.
There's some great dumb shit in there because Kojima still worked on it, like he still did it. So there's great shit in there, but it's not what I want necessarily out of his stuff. I don't want a good game. I just want Metal Gear. Fuck. That game's totally fine though. Like, there's no way you could feel like you've wasted your money in that, I think, unless you just hate mechanically solid games and love story. If you only love story in video games, like get 7 visual novels for the price, because there's like not enough for me. And yeah. Speaking of which, Mad Max has like no story. You're a dude that's angry in the wasteland, and you want to kill people and get your car bigger. The video game
kind of thematically fits the whole franchise, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is he also quiet for the most part?
Not really. Like, yeah, but not really. He talks.
Okay.
It's Australian dude. I can't remember.
Does this take place around any of the movies?
It's done in the same style that Fury Road is. So like it looks very similar aesthetically, like with the same color palettes and shit.
But in terms of like in the timeline, like you just have no idea. It's just another adventure.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably takes place after Fury Road. I'm pretty sure it's the same dude. Like supposed to be the same version of Max, not the Mel Gibson Max.
Right.
That game is open world game to like the 100th degree. It is every open world mechanic ever. Like you go to a place, there you take out a bunch of dudes and you get an objective thing to like upgrade a small thing, then you leave and you go take down a tower, then you go do another thing. Like there's just a bunch of weird shit you do, and it's all just basically the carrot on the stick to make your car better, because the thing with this game is that the car stuff is really, really cool. The car customization, putting different weapons on, using different weapons against guys, and like the death races and all that stuff. All of it is really badass. Everything else is kind of garbage, because everything else is not anything new in these types of games, and not even done to the extent that to like how good the other games have done it. So like for example, there's a lot of it's the Arkham like Batman combat, the hand-to-hand combat, but those parts suck, because in Batman there's the combat, but then there's also the little gadgets he uses. You can like do your being stealthy and like going up to the rafters. It's kind of a whole experience when you're doing a quote-unquote fight or like taking out a bunch of dudes in that game. In this, it is literally just going in and punching and dodging like 6 or 7 dudes until they're all dead. So it's not fun at all, and that forces you to do it a lot, which is weird, because with Batman, with Arkham Knight, the Batmobile stuff wasn't necessarily fun, and they made you do that a lot. So if you put these two games together, you'd have the perfect game somehow, but it wouldn't make any sense story-wise at all.
Okay.
It's one of these...
Does it look like Fury Road, like super saturated colors and stuff?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's cool.
This is the type of game that you buy like a kid for Christmas or something, and you know you won't have to buy them another game for a few months, because there's so many little things to do in it. It's one of these busy work games where they just give you... a bunch of like content in doing the same thing over and over in different areas and getting a little bit better each time and building new cars, but not really expanding anything to like an ultimate ending.
What's better, Mad Max or Metal Gear?
For this week, or just in general?
The two games.
Like the two, because they're both open world, I guess.
I don't know, just because those are the two you played.
You're playing those two. Which
okay.
one do you like?
I like
you have
Metal.
To put one down.
Well, the thing is, I have more fun with the dumb shit Mad Max does, but Metal Gear is just straight out the better game. It is just better. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If you like open world games, though, Mad Max is another one of those, and you won't be disappointed with it because it does some fun stuff. That's the best thing I can say about it.
Do you fight on top of the cars like in the movie?
You can be driving, and then you'll kind of like go out your window a little bit to shoot weapons or whatever, or your little helper dude that rides with you will shoot weapons and stuff like that, but you don't like jump from car to car. You're kind of tied down to this one car called your magnum opus. This is the thing you're building up, to be this giant badass thing and customizing, so it's kind of revolved around you staying in that vehicle. The idea is Max got like the shit kicked out of him at the very beginning of the game, and his vehicle stolen and ripped apart for parts or whatever, so he's building a new one. And he's angry and killing people while he does it.
Sounds correct.
Yes. So
I've heard lots of good things about the vehicle. Some of the, especially once you get your car upgraded a little bit, then it just turns into fantastic spectacles of combos where like everybody has their own unique story of this really intense moment that happened in a Mad Max car chasing.
The best thing about that game is straight up, the first weapon you get is a harpoon gun, and you can harpoon war boys out of the other cars and drag them across the wasteland with you. Like, just stuff like that.
There you go.
Yeah. That's all I've been playing, though, so we should move on to news.
Okay, yeah, a little bit of news. One huge thing of news, but we'll save that for the end.
Yeah, so the huge thing of news is Binding of Isaac Afterbirth expansion release date announced October 30th. I'm excited. That's going to add a shitload more content.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, that's...
I guess if you're a Binding of Isaac fan.
Yeah, I am. I think those games are great. Those two.
This is when I teased the release date of Mass Effect, right?
Yep.
And in news...
So it's on... So you guys got that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. That's a show.
Pretty sure everyone picked it up.
That is a good date. All right.
Yeah.
A little closer to now, as of next week, Shovel Knight expansion will be next week.
That game is
17th.
great. Shovel
I
Knight's
just
so
like to
good.
play the original, but yeah.
Shovel Knight's so good.
You should really play the original. Yeah, it's really good.
I think the retail release comes out the same day. In fact, I think you get both of these. Like, you get the expansion with it if you get the retail release. I think I read that.
That makes sense, because I'm pretty sure the patch, like, for PC, for the expansion, just downloads on that day.
Is it free, or is it like DLC?
No, I'm pretty sure it's free.
Oh,
I thought that was one of the
Nice.
Kickstarter goals.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't Kickstarter
maybe
it.
if they had already gotten it from Kickstarter, they might have said, okay, well, we don't have enough time to get this out yet, but we'll keep working on it once the game's out.
Yeah, like
It's great.
In this one, you're gonna play as Plague Knight, and it's gonna take more of a like alchemy thing where you're making different bombs to use instead of like using your shovel and getting power ups and stuff.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
People in the chat are saying it's free. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ubisoft's making a theme park
Great.
in Malaysia. Who's excited?
Oh, are there a bunch of towers around this theme park that you have to climb up?
Probably, right? That's
the easiest thing, right?
Yeah. It's going to open in 2020.
Okay.
This is like an actual, like, legit, like, Six Flags, Disneyland, like, we're making
Yeah,
a
this
theme
is
park,
from
right?
this news article, 10,000 square meter indoor theme park in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, God, I just saw pictures, and you see, like, I can't remember the name, like, the Rabbids or whatever. And
Oh, no, the Raving Rabbids?
I mean, I don't think they started building it yet, so I'm not sure what you're looking at.
That's fair, yeah. I just see some people standing around a bunch of raving rabbit people.
I'm sure there's going to be rabbits there, though, like, for sure.
This is what they say. Ubisoft's intention for this park is to immerse people in reactive worlds where they can interact with each other and become heroes of their own life-sized game.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm curious what they mean by that.
Me too, actually. I have no idea.
I can do things in video games that I sure as heck cannot do in real life, so...
Maybe they will make you a superhero.
It's also in like Malaysia though, so like I don't know how much they're like really trying. You know what I mean? Like if they were like super serious, it would just be in America, right?
I guess, like, with the real cynical crowd. Like, it would be like if somebody today, like, was pretending to be Jesus and had firecrackers or something and, like, just little parlor tricks. You would be it's easier to...
What are you even talking about?
It's easier to go to Malaysia and, like, do a weird little, like, ride with, like, a 3D screen or something and say this is magic than to somebody, to a more technological part of the world. Is what I'm saying.
What are you even talking about?
You know what I'm talking.
I'm not agreeing with any of this. I'm not agreeing with any of this.
If I get into it, it's going to be misconstrued as racist, and I am not going down that line again.
Oh my god. Next topic. This is so bad. Pikmin 4 was announced. Who likes Pikmin?
I hate
like
Pikmin.
I think I'm too old for it.
How do you hate Pikmin?
I hate it. I don't find it fun at all.
Anyway, all we know is they said they're working on it. We don't know what system. But Pikmin 4. I liked Pikmin 3 a lot. That was a great game.
Fair enough.
Played Pikmin 2. All right, big news. Pokemon Go. Did you see this announcement?
I don't... Is it, like, augmented reality, then?
I guess. So,
okay.
Yeah, so this is a smartphone app.
Yeah.
Where they partnered... what's the company? They worked on Ingress. The company is called... Niantic? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I guess it was some former Google employees. They made a game called Ingress, which was basically like a location-based app where you would go to just different buildings and you could like hack them and take them over and they'd be yours. But then other people could come to your building, like physically go to the location and like attack you. So you could like set up in the game, you know, on your phone, like defenses and stuff for whatever building you conquered and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've played it. It's fun. Kind of.
So they're working with the Pokemon company to do Pokemon Go, which I guess from the little trailer that's out there, there's like a 3-minute video where there will be like locations for you to find Pokemon in the wild, try and collect them, and then you can also link up with other people to trade, or there'll be like community events. Like they showed like a Mewtwo that like everyone had 10 minutes to work towards getting, so they like all set their Pokemon out to defeat it and whatnot. It just seems like really cool, like a super good idea. There's also going to be like a little wristband watch thing for kids, and then I guess their idea is you'd pair it with your like the parents' phone. But it just seems like this is such like a no-brainer. Like this is cool. This seems super cool. I don't know like how well it'll actually work in terms of like, you know, there's a Pikachu down the street. I'm gonna go out of my place and go collect it, but
I would probably totally do that. Why not?
Yeah, I think I would probably do that too. It's going to be early 2016 is the release date for this. No ideas on pricing or whatever. I'm assuming it's going to be free, and you're going to have to like purchase like Pokeballs. Like I'm thinking free to play microtransaction all up in this.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm waiting for this to take the world by storm. And, like, you're driving down the freeway, right? And then all of a sudden somebody swerves off the side of the road. You're like, oh, shit. You check your phone. And sure enough, the reason they did is because there's, like, an Arcanine down there.
What?
Just, like, everybody in the world is so into this thing that they're just, like, stopping in the middle of travel to go catch fake Pokemon in their real world.
When you have your, like, your 2012 windshield screen in your car showing the Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking like you got those, you know, video screens on your dashboard and stuff, and you just have that hooked up with your GPS showing you where all your Pokemon.
That would be great.
It's kind of like, you know, GTA or something like that. You just have this map, and it's like, oh, you got to take this next right here, and you'll grab.
That's basically what it looked like, because yeah, it had like arrows and stuff that the Japanese businessman was going into like alleys, and then he found that Pikachu.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole world.
I want like crazy location based. Like, no, you're gonna have to climb this mountain if you want, this Eevee or whatever. And it's like, okay, and then because there'd be people out there that are like, I'm going around the world to do this. There'd be some crazy like billionaire.
Sean, what's your favorite Pokemon? Or one of them?
Espeon.
So, like, what if you had to go to, like, a Tokyo power plant to get one? You would have to fly across the ocean.
I mean, there's no way I would do that. But, if I was in the area, like, why not?
Sure, yeah.
Although my phone will be on airplane mode when I am in the area, so there's no way I would do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's that problem. So, anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of interested in all the, like, community interconnectedness they're going to do. So I'm excited to see kind of where that will go. Let's go on to all the questions.
Yeah. Sean, where can people write in if they want to ask a question?
They want to write questions in. It's topdownperspective@gmail.com or through Twitter at TDP Podcast. And again, people on the chat, if they want to send in questions right now, post them on the chat and we'll try to get to them.
To make this easier on me, like I can get them, do that. Go at Allan so I can see it because I have it set up so I will see that'll highlight on my screen. We only had one Twitter question, really. We have, like, ones for Allan after, but the one for us, do you think Life is Strange Season 2 could happen at this point? If so, would you even want it?
Yeah, I think I would. I think it has to be a whole new cast. Like you got a True Detective it. Just like a completely different thing. And maybe the one resemblance is, I'm not even saying it has to be time travel again. It's just maybe they have a weird power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Would it take place in Arcadia Bay?
I don't think it has to, but
sure.
Maybe if you want to have like some like through thread, you could. It just seems like it'd be weird that Arcadia Bay keeps getting hit. Maybe somewhere like kind of near it, but not exactly there.
Sure.
But I don't want to see like the characters again. Although I don't know that we haven't seen that final episode, so I don't know for sure. But I think you just kind of, I think the through line is the kind of low key and there's weird powers involved. That's how I would do it.
Sure. I just want episode 5 right now. I'm not even thinking about future stuff.
Yeah, so do I.
Where are we? Matt?
I was going to say in the chat before we listen, there's one directly for Allan. What's the worst game you've done QA for?
Well, I've only done 3 games, so it's like, which one? The worst game? It's going to sound like I'm throwing my employer under the bus because it could still be a fantastic game, but it is the worst one. The one that was the hardest for me.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it.
Due to scheduling, and it was also kind of I came in late on DAO, so it was mostly a finished game. So DA2 would probably be the most challenging game because we had an aggressive schedule, and
that was the most challenging one to play too.
So for the just trying to find like the best way of saying it, like it was also the one because now it was like, okay, well, you were on DAO, so now go and run free, and you have a little bit more freedom, especially in the early parts of trying to work on things. So it was my first, I guess, game from start to finish as well, which probably accents that. And so by the time I get to Dragon Age Inquisition, Inquisition had the advantage of this is brand new technology, and I'm a gigantic nerd, so I'm just like, I want to take this and consume this, and because Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 were actually still like just really, really elaborate extensions of the Neverwinter Nights engine. So I was actually already familiar with that just as a fan, using the Neverwinter Nights tool set. So I mean, it had evolved, of course. But now I was looking at Frostbite, which was fucking gorgeous in my opinion. I thought both Origins and Dragon Age 2, I mean, I didn't think that they were woefully ugly games, but they were not games that I think were as nice as the other ones. And Frostbite, I thought, was like a huge step up in terms of the graphical and physics and all of those stuff that comes with the new engine. So I was better at my job as well going into Inquisition. So Dragon Age 2 is probably the one.
All right.
Fair enough. Let's take an email one here. Matthew writes in, after last week's episode, I went and downloaded that Monster Strike game Paul was talking about. I'm now rank 35 and obviously play the game too much. When I go to bed, the main menu music is stuck in my head, especially the part that goes, "It was always burning since the world's been turning from we didn't start the fire." And I'm starting to...
Is this the mobile game that has like the little dragon as the icon?
I can't remember what the icon
I'm gonna
is.
look this.
Is it a
mobile game?
Googled it up as well. But...
They're little balls, man. You just
Okay,
flick them.
I downloaded this at one point, didn't play it, and uninstalled it. I can't remember why.
Fair enough. So my question, what games have gotten music and or gameplay stuck in your head like this? Metal Gear Solid 2's main theme was like the theme song for like grade 10 or 11 or whenever the fuck that came out.
Metal Gear Solid has great soundtrack.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I've definitely had Snake Eater stuck in my head once or twice.
Snake Eater, yes. Like what gets in I've said this before, the Legend of Zelda just like main theme every now and then will just pop in my head randomly. So that has had a huge impact on me.
What about you, Alan? Feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like now that you mentioned Legend of Zelda, it was funny. Ocarina of Time was right in my most formative years. I was in high school when that one was out, and I remember when a coworker, one of the Ocarina tunes, I can't remember even which one it was, but they had that as their ringtone, and it was just like do 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 do, and then as soon as I heard that, I was
Song
like,
of Storms.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
So, I was just like, I had to do the 3 notes, and you're like, oh, I know that one, I know that one. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ocarina of Time, I think it didn't hurt that you had to learn to play them as well to just help the reinforce them. But I'm actually pretty old school. For ones that I get randomly stuck in my head, I ride a motorbike. I love riding on a motorbike, and you just kind of have your thoughts to yourself. And while I'm driving, especially in like the mountains or something, I actually gravitate back to like old like Super Nintendo. Top Gear was a great game that had a really cool techno-y type soundtrack as you were driving. But the big one is probably actually Mega Man. I love Dr. Wily theme music and Metal Man theme music. And I would just be driving, and I'd be like,
yeah.
So those ones,
good.
really good.
Have you heard the OC remix of that song specifically? There's so many good ones.
I've heard a few of them, yeah. And it's funny because someone's like, "Hey, check this out," and I'd be like listening for a little bit, and then after a bit, I was like, "Holy shit, this is Dr. Wily, isn't it?" And they're like, "Yeah," and they're like excited because I recognized it. And yeah, no, I think it's very iconic.
Ace Attorney gets stuck in my head often because it's my ringtone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's almost cheating.
Yeah. But I mean, I like that song enough to make it my ringtone, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. There was. I remember seeing an interesting video by the Extra Credits guys, and they were talking about like the music of the old days compared, because Halo was another one that I would get stuck in my head, and it was funny because I didn't even play Halo at release because I'm more of a PC gamer, but I still followed it avidly pre-release before it became an Xbox exclusive. So that kind of orchestral score theme that they had of like the choir going and then kicking into like the the drums and the meteor bass and stuff like that. That was one of the ones. But music. We have so much more capability with music today that compared to the old like the Mega Man, they needed they had 8 notes that they could use and they couldn't do anything more than that. So they were very dependent on doing catchy melodies. That's the only thing that they really had. And I've heard our brains are just really good at remembering those. So
yeah,
mine are definitely a lot of Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. They're
for sure.
How easy to remember.
For sure.
Theodore writes, I've started playing the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and it surprised me to remember how many memories and feelings I have attached to this game. My question is, are there any games that hold a surprising amount of nostalgia for
Resident
you?
Evil.
Only you, the master of unlocking, would have such memories.
Exactly.
Yep.
That game is memorable for just how bad the voice acting was, and if they were to do it with a new version that was better voice acting, it would be a worse game for it. It is such a part of, I think, the game where it's like, look out, Jill, and you're just like, this is so bad. Even at the time, you're like, this is so terrible, I love it.
It's so fucking good. Parappa the Rapper. A lot of nostalgia for that game. Too much, because I
don't go back to games too often, but I will say, because they're just all so similar, like the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Like when a new one comes out and I pick it up, it's like, man, I'm just a kid again. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get them all. Here we go. Doing my usual Pokemon thing.
Mega Man.
Yeah.
Mega Man. Okay.
There's a great Penny Arcade cartoon where it's just like like Mega Man 3 came out or whatever, it just shows like a young like Gabe playing it, like all excited. Then Mega Man 10 comes out, it just shows him like sitting there as an adult, and then the next frame is him as a kid again the minute he starts it up.
I think I remember that one.
It's perfect. That's exactly how it is when you go back to that old style of Mega Man again, and you're just like, yeah, here we go.
I had another... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, those ones are the ones for me. I think just because that was when I was kind of getting hooked into gaming finally for good, was the old NES days. Mm-hmm. So that one, and then also Double Dragons and those types of beat 'em ups were games that I loved growing up. And a coworker one day brought in their old original Nintendo, and they were a collector, and they had all sorts of games. And I got right to Mike Tyson again on my first try. It had been like 20 years on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I haven't played that game in so long, but I still remember
that muscle memory.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. And I'm just like, okay, I think this guy, he does it. Yeah, okay, dodge, do this. And people are watching me like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. My fingers are doing things on their own. And I just remembered Tyson I needed to practice up for because he's just such specific timing because he's a cheap ass. But yeah, eventually
that frame perfect dodging. Fuck that fucking game, man.
Yeah. But those ones do it for me for the nostalgia effect for sure.
Yeah.
I got another two. When Rare Replay came out, getting to play some of those games again was real nice. And then one slightly different scenario in a smaller scale, though. So last week, Mad Catz had this discount code for, it was like 25% off anything on their site. Okay. And it wasn't supposed to be for pre-orders, but it worked. So I was like, now's the time to get Rock Band 4.
Oh, wow.
So I did that. And then, halfway through the week, they canceled all those orders that everyone put on. But regardless, just the idea of like getting to play Rock Band again, I was like, man, like it's real. I'm so excited to play some more Rock Band again. It's been years since I played Rock Band, and I was so stoked. But I'm still gonna pick it up. But just like making the purchase was like made it real again, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm gonna have all my friends over, and we're just gonna be jamming out.
Yeah,
I love the first. I played them so much that I got burnt out on them just because of how much we were playing them. But yeah, I'm a big, especially once they unlocked the Foo Fighters pack. Foo Fighters is my favorite band, and Everlong is my favorite song. And I'm like, I must master this on expert simply because it is such an amazing song. And hours turn into days, turn into weeks.
Yeah, I played a lot of Rock Band.
Yeah. You know what? I have a Twitter question for you, Allan. Here. What's the stress level of you/the team around the time of release concerning bugs that you couldn't get to?
I've gotten better at it, I think. There's always things that you either aren't able to isolate down. There are things that you just didn't even realize. The kind of anecdote I like to share, because we'll have 30 on-site QA that are hammering on the game 8 hours a day, and if we sell a game and let's say in the first day it is amazing success and we sell 1 million copies and everybody plays the game for 1 hour, they've spent 12 years of work, time in the game, so there's always going to be things that get missed. It sucks. I do hate it. I do take it personally. I don't beat myself up over it, but I guess it also depends on the type of bug. Some bugs are funny. Skyrim, I think, was a good example. You get physics bugs where a giant smashes a creature, and the creature goes flying 400,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Yes, it's technically a bug, but I laugh my ass off when I see that. So you learn to pick your battles and stuff like that, and you're like, this is a bug, and we have what's called triage, which is basically going, what are bugs that need to get fixed, what are bugs that we're okay shipping with because maybe they're funny, and we just you have to pick and choose your battles for which ones you want to anything that kind of blocks the critical path or blocks story, because people play our games for stories. So it can get stressful. You learn. It can also be somewhat camaraderie building. You're working late, and I share an office on Dragon Age Inquisition with about 4 or 5 other people, and you almost get kind of loopy. I remember at one point we were playing. It was right before finaling, so we're submitting to Sony, saying this is our candidate for the game. You guys can do your tests and make sure that you're okay with us releasing this, and so we do that for both Microsoft and Sony. And we had just put in a resubmission based on their feedback, so it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and as we're playing through Inquisition, suddenly I got the idea that I should start quoting Cassandra's lines using Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Oh no.
And then suddenly Liliana became Batman and stuff like that.
Oh
So
god.
as we're playing, we're just reading along, and yeah, you do odd things to sort of ironically keep your sanity, even though to an outside observer we've totally gone off our rockers. But it is, I mean, they don't want us to get worked to the bone, and they do try to balance out that sort of stuff. But yeah, things do get missed. Things are, you know, you get that thing that happened to one person one time, and it was like, was I just seeing things, or did that actually happen? But then you get a million people playing it, and suddenly it happens to 100 people, which isn't a lot, but it still sucks to those 100 people if they're not able to enjoy their game because they're running into serious issues. So it does get stressful. Sure. Post launch, it's probably a little bit more stressful because that's when you're actually out in the wild and people are going, here's an issue, and this is frustrating, and I really want to play your game, I really want to enjoy it, and I can't, and it's frantic because you're trying to deal with, okay, what exactly were you doing? On PC it can be handy because it'd be like, okay, if you can put yourself right before this happens and like send me your save game, then maybe we can do it like that. Because the issue with finding bugs is all about, can you reproduce them? Because if you can never reproduce them, and that's the challenge, especially with PC, is because you're using all these unique forms of hardware and stuff like that. It could be that perfect storm of, I have this with this driver version with that, so you're parsing through DirectX dialogues and all of that stuff, and you're just like, can we figure out what might possibly be doing this? And so it does get stressful because I do take it pride in my work, and I know what it's like to play a game that has bugs, so I don't want there to be, but I've gotten better at not breaking down, because Dragon Age Origins, I remember some guy was so mad at us, he was basically he had told me that I should have been like aborted as a fetus or something like that, because it meant that we would have had competent QA. And I was like, well, thank you, I feel wonderful now. So
I've gotten comments like that from saying that I liked the ending of Mass Effect 3. So like, people on the internet are just vile pieces of garbage sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but yeah, I'm just like, especially because for Dragon Age Origins, I've been with Bioware for like 6 months or something like that, and I'm like, oh my god, I made a game. I'm like, I see my credits, I'm all excited, and then it's just like this person's like, blah, and I was just like, I am the worst person in the world, and oh my god. And I remember just after I was helping out, just doing like forum scouring for issues, and after a couple of weeks I was like, I need to take a break, and my lead was like, okie dokie, sounds good, thank you for your time in the trenches, so to speak. So
right,
lots of war stories.
Okay, here's an email from Elijah. I think it's Elijah. Will any of you be getting the special Skylander, Bowser, and DK amiibos? No, I won't, but
probably not.
I don't get. Yeah.
You know what? If I find it in a store when I'm just shopping one day, maybe. But like, I'm not gonna look for them.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't buy amiibo.
They're not that cool.
Amiibos.
The Skylander ones that they showed, the Bowser and DK ones. I don't think they're that cool looking.
John will get them because he buys them all because he's insane.
Yeah.
But nope.
How into amiibos are you, Alan?
I am not. So yeah. I'm not a collector type really, and I think on some level that's a blessing because I hear about the like amiibo craze, and I have coworkers and friends who are huge into it. I'll be on Twitter and like, oh my god, I just got like the super rare one, and I'm just like, part of me is like, I'm glad that I have my passions and things that I'm absolutely must have. A lot of it's games, and games have become digital, so it's not really hard to find games anymore, which I love about that. So I remember Nice Heel Republic was, I pre-ordered that game, and as soon as I was in university at the time, as soon as my classes were over, I was running to that CompuSmart because I was like, I need to make sure that they didn't fuck up and accidentally give my copy away to the wrong person or something like that. So yeah, I think I'm kind of grateful. Everyone else can enjoy their amiibos. They don't have to worry about competing with me because I think that I'm the type of person who I would probably be dangerous if I wasn't in.
I like them if they're available. I won't go seek them out though. Like I won't wait for
That's not true.
orders.
Didn't you like eBay like a collection of them or something?
No.
You monster.
I didn't.
But you almost did.
No, I didn't.
You did. You totally did something. You were looking into it or something. I know this.
No, this was Kijiji, which is basically like Craigslist.
Yep.
Okay, so same thing.
Completely different, yes.
It is, yeah. And then I was just like, nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Henry, if you were to be he has Fulton, but then it's crossed out. Willfully accepting of your new job at Big Boss's mother base. What role would you fit most?
The Fulton is the balloon that brings
Yeah.
people to the base.
Yep. I haven't played it, so I don't. What are the job?
I'm going to say Allan would probably be research and development. That just makes sense to me.
Can you just assign guys like anywhere, like, or do they do
Yeah,
something specific?
no, you can
Okay.
assign them anywhere, and they have like different grades on how good their thing will be. So you can fill your medical bay with everybody that is shitty at medical stuff if you want,
Okay.
but there's no reason to.
Is there like crappy jobs, like you're going to be the janitor?
I mean, there probably is realistically, but no, not in the game. You don't manage. You don't manage that.
Okay.
I'd probably be in like Intel. I'm guessing, just sitting on a radio all day, listening to people like give me information about what's going on.
Yeah. Again, I haven't played the game, so I have no idea.
I need to have a better idea. I mean, research and tech is, I do dig that sort of stuff, but I need to have a better idea. I need to play the game still, and it's getting a lot of buzz. But what are all the jobs? I guess off the top of your head, put you on the spot.
Okay, there's research and development. Obviously, there's like medicine, medical bay. There is like your basic army, like combat. There are the one I just said I would be in, Intel.
Intel.
I'm forgetting everything here.
It's not very good intel.
Is there one that gets to just play with the dog? I want that one.
The dog keeper.
There's transportation. Honestly, because of my real life job, I would probably be in transportation now that I think about it, in logistics. God damn it. I'm trying to remember what the other... There's like 2 or 3 more. And I can't remember what they are right now.
It's your standardized military.
Pretty sure one
roles.
is dog keeper. I'm gonna pick that one.
Dog keeper is your new position.
Yeah, I get to play with D-Dog.
All right. Fair enough. All right, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
I think that was the last email. Or last question.
I have a question from Glenn Stavos in the chat.
Okay.
Are there any for Allan, are there any non-Bioware RPGs that impress you?
Most recent one, I have not yet had a chance to play it, and it is not an indictment on the game. It is an indictment on me being kind of burnt out from fantasy because I've been working on Dragon Age. The Witcher 3 sounds really, 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 really interesting. I do want to pick it up. It's probably useful for me to just see what it's like. But that one, in terms of other games that I've played that I've really enjoyed lately as well, I'm actually a huge Obsidian fanboy. I love Pillars of Eternity.
Pillars is so good.
Yeah, and it scratches that old school isometric itch as well. I really like their writing. I respect their Josh Sawyer was their lead designer, and I think he has got good insights on game design and stuff like that. So yeah, I could probably gush for hours and hours on Obsidian games. Fallout New Vegas was probably the game on my Steam that isn't a strategy game that has the most hours in it, and that is a game that I lost myself in for sure.
So you're excited for Fallout 4, you can say.
I am, yes. I'm pleasantly piqued, and on what, especially with all the customization stuff that was coming down for that one, because I was like, sweet, I can like set up my own camp and shit in the wasteland. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to book off some holiday.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's an episode for this week.
So again, next week, people want to send in questions. Again, topdownperspective@gmail.com or Twitter @TDP Podcast or the Facebook group and all the other places. Games of the week. All right, Allan, out of all the games you played this week, what's your favorite?
I have to go with Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Paul?
Shadowrun Hong Kong.
Hatsune Miku Project Mirai DX.
Are you serious?
I actually am.
Okay. Only you would say that. You're the only person who's ever said that. I'm going to give it to Super Mario Maker.
Allan, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yes.
No, thanks for the invite. It was fun to just chat games.
If people wanted to chat games with you online, how could they do so?
You can find me on Twitter with @Allan Shumacher. That's the anglicized pronunciation.com.
Oh.
So, or not .com. I just @Allan Shumacher. So you'll tweet me out. They can find me through you probably. So
cool.
Yes.
And thank you everybody for listening as well. We're not forgetting about you.
We'll be back in next week. I don't know what John's scenario is. Hopefully he'll be back next week.
We'll find out a few days before, I'm sure.
But thanks everybody for listening in. See you later.
Bye.
Have a good night.